Hello everybody. Today I am working in John's garden and I can tell you that it is the most remarkable garden. We have some beautiful springtime blossoms. It's a forest garden and so there's a lot of beautiful trees, rhododendrons, irises, and I want to show you what I'm working on today. Trudy mentioned that maybe it'd be nice if I did some gardening tips and show you some of the flowers and what to do. So I just wanted to show you what I'm working on. Now this is fairly overgrown, as you can see. John does a terrific job, but his place is enormous. And so today I'm working on taming this area, and what I'm using to get some of the longest weeds is this dandelion picker. It's so muddy because it's wet out today that you can't see it. Now this has a little tiny little end that really helps to get in underneath the weeds, and then it just pops them right up like that, and then I can usually get the whole bottom, except for of course when I try to show you. The other thing that I'm also using for the smaller weeds is this gadget. It's called a garden bandit. They're not available everywhere, but I just go underneath of the smaller weeds with this, and it really gets out the entire root. Look at my hands. I'm a hard-working lady. And then you can just sort of skim them off the top or go like this with your tool, and it sort of puts them into a pile for you. So anyways, those are two of my main tools that I'm using today to tame this garden. And as I go along, I'll show you some of the flowers and some of the other tips that I have for you. So I'm just working on this little azalea. I think it's an azalea or a rhododendron. It's really hard to tell sometimes. But you know, they don't like a lot of pruning, but this one's had some bug damage. And I know from experience with these that if the branches are too low, if they seep down to the ground, they tend to get more bug damage because the snails and stuff can easily climb up on the branches and then get into the plant. So all I'm going to do is just cut some of the lower ones, and it'll also make it easier for me to get underneath to do the weeding later. Now, you know, it's just not growing great, and it's not producing any flowers when they're lower branches like this that are just kind of clumped together. It's not in great shape. There's death on the end here. So I'm just gonna go back to the healthiest branch, and I'm gonna cut it on an angle, and I'm just gonna clear the bottom branches and freshen it up, give it a bit of shape. Now this branch here is not doing anything at all. It's just a stub. Don't leave stubs. Stubs don't work, especially for certain shrubs will really react badly to being kind of made into a stump or strange cuts. So, you know, it's got beautiful upper growth, but the lower growth is not so wonderful. So I'm just going to keep on cutting a few of the branches that are kind of weaker looking, that look like they've been damaged by bugs. And if you find leaves that are really damaged looking, that have a curl to them or anything like that, remove them. Try not to hack away the branches. You might only have to remove the actual leaf, but if you leave them, then you're probably going to get more damage. And as much as I love all living creatures and I like a healthy balance, if they start to kill off things, then sometimes just manually taking the leaves off that have the bugs on them will do some great justice to the plant. I don't recommend pesticides of any sort. I just think that ruins the whole balance of your garden, and I think it can really do some damage to the environment. And I think that we've been haphazardly using them over the years, and it's done some real damage to the bees and other animals. So there's no need for it. So I'm still working on this lupin, and I just want to show you that, you know, these roots are really quite tough. So what I'm doing is I'm putting the fork in and kind of twisting up, and you can see that it is bringing up a lot of the roots. And sometimes you have to keep on doing it. Just keep jabbing it. Keep jabbing it. I am on my hands or on my knees right now because I have a bad back. So to save my arthritis a bit, this method works for me. It does take quite a bit of arm power, but I find that my arms are doing better than my back. So as you can see, now I've managed to twist most of the roots up, and I can easily get them out and make sure that I shake off as much dirt as I can, because I want to keep as much of this beautiful earth in here as possible. Now I've had to cut away quite a bit of the lower part of this lupin because it was just really out of control, and there's tiny little snails everywhere underneath there that were just living in all of the growth under here. So these are not affecting the plants for me to cut those off. The upper part is really nice and bushy, and that's where all the flowers are. I can see new growth too, new little leaves that are starting. So I'm not doing any damage to it by, you know, giving it a bit of revitalization. And sometimes you have to go hard on plants and do that. You know, they're not all easy, as you know. This garden is a revitalization project, although it is a woodland garden, so it is meant to be natural. But every few years, really, in order to kind of keep the control to a certain degree, it does need some special TLC. You can see now that I've forked it, it's a lot easier to get my hands under there and get the roots out, because those roots are going to make a whole new bunch of weeds if I don't get them all out. And what I ideally want is just some beautiful, nice soil that is weed-free, root-free, so that my client doesn't have to worry about getting this done for another long time. I just wanted to give you a laugh because I broke my pants. I must have gained weight since the last time I wore these. Look how terribly dirty they are. It is raining here today, or it was. And so these are how, this is a Canadian gardener, eh? And yeah, my zipper broke. I've had a malfunction and I have to change into my second pair of pants, which luckily I'm wise and I brought another pair. The rhododendrons, now they are amazing here, just absolutely amazing. And I want to tell you that it's so noisy. Look. Oh my gosh, I had a dog a little while ago. It's just amazing. This is what you get when you're in a Canadian garden. Now these rhododendrons are growing beautifully because they're underneath these big, huge trees, and that's what they love. They love to be protected, and they love to have some nice acidic soil. So quite a bit of moisture is preferred for them. They have very shallow roots, so you don't want to dig around in them lots. That's why having a lot of sort of pine needles and cedar needles and that kind of thing is actually really good for them, to give them extra protection. So it's starting to rain pretty hard, and I've been out here for about, I guess, 3 hours or so. And this is what I've accomplished for the day. I've got quite a few things cleared out so that it just has got some definition to it. It's not perfect, and when you're kind of revitalizing a garden, then you have to expect that it may take a few times before you get it absolutely perfect. So I'll probably have to return to this garden to finish off the rest, but I just wanted to show you some of the beautiful flowers in John's garden. And this is a shade garden, so anything that you see here grows in pretty cool temperatures. We're in Canada, so it's not overly warm, although we have had a couple of really hot seasons, very dry, but today is not such a day. So I hope you enjoyed the views of the garden.